Yes, sit.
Yes.
पोछा लगाना नहीं.
हाँ लगा लिया पोछा. अपनी फूक से पोछा लगा लिया.
Very nice. What a
झाड़ू है
joke. What a joke. हाँ जी, निश्चल केसरवानी
हाँ yes.
on the camera wants to
Right.
say something. Yeah.
Yes. So I'm thinking that what if there is enough trust in society or enough openness somehow for a mind that is already struggling with mental health. Perhaps it may not be as easy as said, but I still think that there are glimpses even for such human beings who are struggling with their own selves and are finding it almost impossible to be able to handle their situation of the mind themselves. So they look for therapy, let's say. Somehow this other human being who is not a lover, who is not a friend, who is not a husband, who happens to be perhaps somebody who happens to have maybe some grip on the topic of mind. What is a mind?
You know, those are known as psychiatrists.
Yes, but I don't want to use those terms because fundamentally it is about the mind. And mind is such a subtle topic that even those who are educated in psychiatry or psychology still do not understand the base of it, the fundamental, that which is conscious. So they don't understand this, they understand a layer above that without understanding consciousness. Now suddenly a rare being, let's say, comes into the life of somebody who is struggling with mental health. And this rare being is a lover. And this rare being is rare because he has an understanding better than majority of the world on the topic of what is a mind, what is consciousness, and what's going on that is troubling the mind. Perhaps what is happening in truth, in reality, in the mind, that it gets gripped with certain loops. So it would be difficult for those who are trained in a certain way, in certain diagnosis, and certain methods to go into a topic as original and perhaps a topic that can only be delivered by somebody who has genuinely got a command over it, you know. So if such a person comes into the life of a person who, so all I'm saying is that maybe not all are of that level that they can handle someone who's dealing with emotional disturbances, mental health, depression, anxiety. But a blanket statement to say that such a person should first handle themselves and then go into a relationship would be incorrect, because if it was like this, that things could be handled in isolation, then people would have just handled everything in isolation.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get companionship and then you trust, and if you trust the other person, then you open up to the other person and speak about it every time there is some serious trouble in the mind. You give a call to that person, you put your trust in that person, you trust that person primarily because you have come to realize subtly that this is an extremely intelligent human being and this is also a pure human being. This is one moment. So a blanket, an understanding of blanket statement as a narrative in the world about people who are struggling with mental health and all of that, they would, after reading all of this text, would even certainly more avoid being in relationships, because they have understood life as that they have to first go to a psychiatrist, or they have to figure out their mental health situation, because no one else can unless there is a professional. But there are so many problems in the world that professionals are not able to handle. You know, first, intent. When you have a lover who can handle that for you, and if you understand that, okay, there is no topic that cannot be fragmented by somebody who has the intention to go deep in it, so long as it's an intelligent mind, give that opportunity to that intelligent mind to go deep into it, fragment it, and help solve it. Because if psychiatrists were able to solve this problem of mental health, then society would have not been struggling with the situation. The truth is, it's not handled. Maybe it can be. Maybe one could get you. The handling is basically getting used to it. The handling is basically living with it, and one has to continue to live with it because there is little quality in them of surrender. The moment they unburden themselves, because they were able to trust somebody so deeply that the fundamental intention of this person is my good, and this person has got the capability to tell me more on the topic that I'm dealing with. So how then can I deal with it alone? Because I have somebody who's able to engage my mind very rationally on the topic of mind, that very thing which is disturbing me. So this camaraderie will help in creating solution better than being isolated with your limited set of faculties, which is that limited, the exercise of your brain in comparison to my brain has been different. There is a difference in my tapasya and your tapasya. Not everyone is the same. So a blanket statement like not having a boyfriend or husband when you are having disturbed with mental health may not be true, because that very human being can also be a human being of compassion, love, genuine care, intelligence, intention to heal you, and in incredible curiosity. So answer that person, don't avoid. Answer that person, because he's picking dots to help. But when we close in and we think only psychiatrists are going to help us, or some therapy or some books that we may have to read, or great authors who are popular on Instagram, some reels, this is not somebody in your presence who's, even the presence is going to make you feel safeguarded, you'd feel comfortable. That environment would get built when you're not alone anymore, because at the root is this lack of love, that nurturing that has to happen of the spirit has not happened. So that nurture will come from somebody who you feel love for and get love in return, and it will be a great matter of fortune to have some human being in one's life who is supremely more intelligent. Because supremely more intelligent than the other is not to say there is some difference in the idea of equality between the two. Some people do more tapasya than the other. Some people spend more time in entertaining themselves with silly OTT content. However, some other do not go into that realm of mediocrity. They spend time sitting in within themselves on fundamental questions of life, and such people will certainly have better answers about what is mind, because one day will come one day a time will come in their life and they will reach the topic of mind, that where all observation is happening. And if they have really gone into this, then they are much better than a psychiatrist to tackle this question. But such beings are so rare, then one is not left with the choice. But a blanket statement like that may not be correct, because those lovers who do not know what is a mind can also help, So sometimes one can get a husband like that. So you understand what I'm talking about is a blanket statement.